I'm Rashi Vatz. This is Fox 26 Crime Files, and we start with a normal day at a cell phone store in Houston, and it takes a terrifying turn. This newly released video shows the moments a would-be customer turns into an armed robber at a local store in Lawndale. The gunman stole cash, phones, and another employee's purse before taking off. This all happened back on March 14th. Up next, what sounds more like an action movie than real life. A man already in police custody at the Texas Medical Center escaped and stole an ambulance naked. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf explains.
A crazy police chase ending in West Houston.
I never saw a person. He turned south on them, and as I was turning south, the door was open, ambulance was rolling and crashed.
It started Monday. A suspect arrested for burglary had been taken to a Texas Medical Center hospital for an apparent injury. Then Tuesday, the alleged burglar fought officers at the hospital and ran outside. His hospital gown ripped off. He then stole a Houston Fire Department ambulance, driving away from police naked.
We got to figure out what he was wearing when he left over there. Is he in a gown?
1914. Is he in a gown or when he came in?
No, he's naked, tattoos, light-skinned black male, about 5'7".
Surveillance video exclusively obtained by Fox 26 captures the stolen HFD ambulance speeding through Willcrest and Harwin Drive. Fire Chief Samuel Pena telling us the pain of the surge in crime is felt everywhere. This cannot be tolerated.
He had the sirens going. Luckily, he didn't hit anybody because this corner gets a lot of accidents.
The ambulance crashing into a nearby parked car. Gus Donati there as the naked man ran into a home.
They had a negotiator out there, so they on the loudspeaker saying, please come out peacefully, you know, you won't get hurt, this and that. So luckily he came out. But it was like an action movie.
Police with their guns out, eventually making the arrest. The naked man, now wearing clothes, back in custody.
It was exciting and scary because they told us to not even come out in case shots were fired.
That was Matthew Seedorf reporting. Well, a thief is caught on camera running off with a ring stolen from a North Houston jeweler after first posing as a customer. Fox 26's Natalie He has that story.
In a matter of seconds, this man turned from customer to thief.
He said, show me this ring. So I was trying to show him.
Around 3:40 p.m. Saturday, Bobby Singh, the owner of Nations Jewelers, says this man strolled into his shop located at the La Estrella Flea Market on the East Tex Freeway and asked to try on several diamond rings.
He said, how much is it worth? He said, like 100, 125, I can sell it to you. He said, I want more money. I want to spend more money. I should pull the ring out and keep holding in my hand. And he said, can you check my size? And I was checking with the ring sizer, his size. And I have a ring in my hand, he just grabbed and ran.
Bobby said the suspect ended up getting away with a 1-carat diamond white gold ring worth nearly $1,500. The money may not sound much to some, but for Bobby, it's his livelihood.
I have family, I have 2 daughters, they're both in college, and I'm supporting them.
In his 30-plus years as a jeweler, Bobby says he's never encountered a thief so bold, willing to yank the ring from his hand with multiple cameras rolling from just about every vantage point.
I asked him, what's your name? He said, Polo.
Bobby's filed a report with HPD and has already tightened security measures.
The rules right now, we're going to ID everything. I work hard for this. I'm not going to let you go.
Now, if you recognize this individual or know anything about this case, you are urged to call Houston Police. The owner is offering up to a $200 reward for any information that could lead to an arrest. In North Houston, Natalie He, Fox 26 News.
An argument between an ex-boyfriend and girlfriend ended with deadly gunfire. This happened at a Denny's restaurant along the Gulf Freeway. It was in the parking lot when the woman's current boyfriend showed up with a gun, got in the middle of the disagreement, and then opened fire. The man accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend more than 20 times went back and forth in and out of jail this week. We're talking about Frank De Leon. He's charged with murder in the death of 16-year-old Diamond Alvarez. Police say he shot Alvarez 22 times in the back, killing her. Well, De Leon was taken back into custody for a curfew violation. His attorney said his GPS monitor glitched. He's back out now, so stay tuned for any further developments. A former Precinct 4 deputy accused of robbing several businesses while in uniform is out of jail on a $30,000 bond. Bobby Espinoza, you see there, was fired and arrested. He's charged with felony theft after court records show that he demanded and stole $5,700 from the businesses. In a statement, Constable Mark Herman says the allegations against Espinoza have the full attention of his office. Well, the widow, son, and former partner of a Houston police officer killed in the line of duty sat down with our Randy Wallace just one day before witnessing what they wanted more than 3 decades to see: the execution of his killer.
Barring any last-minute legal maneuvering, convicted capital murderer Carl Wayne Bunchen will be executed here in Huntsville at 6 p.m. Thursday evening. At 78, he's the oldest living Texas death row inmate.
We really thought it wasn't ever going to happen. He was just going to die of old age on death row, and we'd never really see justice or peace for Jim.
Honestly, I think it's ridiculous that we're here after 32 years. Should never take this long. For anybody. This isn't justice for us. This isn't justice for anybody.
Mara Irby became a widow on June 27, 1990. That's when the now 78-year-old Carl Wayne Bunchen shot James Irby, an 18-year HPD veteran, during a traffic stop. Bunchen was a passenger in a car Irby pulled over.
I was with him up to about 15-20 minutes before his death.
While Irby and the driver were talking, Bunchen slipped out of the vehicle and shot Irby once in the head. While Irby was lying on the ground, Bunchen shot him twice in the back.
The only thing Jim ever said to the guy was he told him to get back in the car.
A jury sentenced Bunchen to death back in 1991, but he was granted a new sentencing phase in 2012 and was again sentenced to death.
It was grueling and torturous. Our children were old enough to be there. They'd never really heard their father's voice, but they did on the radio traffic. They hadn't seen all of the gruesome photographs.
Thursday, justice is finally served.
It would give me peace of mind that my boys will never have to live in a world with Carl Wayne Bunchen.
He's nothing but a rabid dog that society will be much better off without.
Bunchen was a member of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas prison gang. He has an extensive criminal history that includes 13 prior felony convictions. Reporting from Huntsville, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
2 women just going about their daily routines violently robbed in the middle of the day. The 2 crimes happened within 2 weeks of each other back in January. New video shows that a robber sneaking into a woman's car and then stealing her purse on San Felipe Street. The victim tried to fight back but was knocked to the ground. Police say she had just left a bank. And then 2 weeks later, a woman was violently attacked and robbed in the middle of an office building on Savoy Drive. She says she thinks she was targeted because she had just left a bank as well. Well, this was a very frightening situation for people over in Pasadena as they witnessed a man waving a gun on a busy street shot and killed by police. More than a dozen shots were fired. Fox 26's Domly Keith has that story.
This gunfight unfolded here on Spencer Highway in this busy area with cars driving by and people outside.
It was very scary.
After receiving a call of a man walking down the street with a gun, Pasadena police officers arrived in 2 minutes, finding the man still holding the gun.
Drop the gun! He was walking along the sidewalk initially, still had the handgun in his hand. He began running. The officers were following him in the patrol car. One of them was giving him instructions over the PA in the vehicle.
Get down, don't move, type of things like that. Drop the gun. They told him a couple of times.
Drop the gun!
But as you can see in this video recorded by Ariana De Leon, the man with the gun in his hand started running down Spencer Highway instead.
That's when I seen the young man walking towards the apartments, but then he turned and started waving the gun.
This police dash cam video was also released. The Pasadena police chief couldn't immediately confirm if the man fired shots, but says 2 of his officers opened fire when the man pointed the gun at them. One began shooting while still inside his patrol car, leaving this bullet hole. Seconds later, the man with the gun was lying dead in the street.
Everything just kind of got quiet after that.
An ordeal that has left those who witnessed it, the young man's loved ones, and even officers devastated.
I just actually think it's kind of sad.
It's sad because I have a 22-year-old of my own. So I know the young community is going through a lot, so we don't know, what he could have been going through.
It was traumatic to take another life, no matter what the circumstances are, even if your own life's in danger.
Well, another deadly shooting involving an officer is under investigation. This is over in Montgomery County. Conroe police shot and killed 18-year-old Larry Mixon III last night. Investigators say Mixon was firing shots at a home and had been involved with disturbances at 2 local businesses earlier in the evening. And a Houston area conservative activist has been indicted in connection to a bogus voter fraud investigation. Dr. Stephen Hotze is facing felony charges of unlawful restraint and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The charges relate to the voter fraud probe Hotze funded following the 2020 election, in which a former HPD captain ran a man off the road and held him at gunpoint. The former captain was paid to uncover voter fraud in Harris County, which turned out not to be true. And that is this week's Fox 26 Crime Files.